This week's World Cup took us to Leogang for some surprising and exciting racing up and down the side of a freaking mountain. But today we are going to go through the race. We're going to discuss why Nino had such a terrible day on the bike and some of the surprising and amazing attacks that went on during the event. Friday's short track race was super exciting to watch because there was a hell of a climb and Jordan Saru showed off his climbing prowess to take the win. As we all know, the results of the short track race dictate the starting order for the main event on Sunday, and the man himself, Nino Schurter, who destroyed the field the previous week, is not getting to start on the front row. And please, if you do enjoy this content, make sure that you like and subscribe. That definitely helps. I enjoyed doing the last one. People said let's do the next one. I'm gonna keep rolling with these. I do apologize though, because this one is coming out a little bit later than I would like and anticipated, but I did get to go to USA Cycling, the Nationals event, and do some filming for an awesome team there. It was an unusually hot day at Leogang with a lot of racers donning ice vests to keep them cool before the start. Once the race started though, it was none other than my boy Schwarzbaumer himself that lit the field up, taking the whole shot and controlling the race from the get-go. I think he is going to be a prolific winner as long as he doesn't get injured or anything like that, because to be as heavy as he is and to ride at a course like this that has this amount of climbing and still be at the front for as long as he held on, I think is super impressive. I'm rooting for you, dude. But just look at the climbing this course has. After his great performance in the short track, I was really looking for Jordan to have a super amazing performance today. I kind of had my money on him. So around that 28 to 30 minute mark, Mathias Flückiger, alongside his teammate, bridged the gap to the front group, which was impressive in and of itself. And at this point, Nino Schurter was knocked down to almost 30th position, and we will discuss why probably after the race. And right here, Andre Sink puts in a hell of a dig and strings the field out, but just look at the effort from Flückiger. He had to be putting out some massive watts to get to the front. I think he knew with Sink's effort that it was time to go, and I think Flückiger could not have timed it any better. Sure, his race would have been a little bit more perfect if he would have been near the front from the get-go when Sink's effort started, but that's just racing, and Flückiger responded extremely well without a moment's notice.
So he can't overtake him on sections like that. Lars Forster through there. Yeah. Alan Hatterley behind him. Here he is, the Canadian rider.
Now Mathias is pushing extremely hard to reach the two leaders because it looks like he believes that this could be the winning move, and he actually connects with them.
See here, Mathias is pushing hard to close that gap. Especially in the descent, he's trying everything.
The lead group swells at this point to about 5 racers, but the pace is still high. It's not like they're recovering a ton, but there is about 5 of them now instead of just 2. Flückiger has just been recovering the past few minutes as best he can after bridging that amazing gap. And right here is when he decides to hit the front, and he is such a skilled mountain biker, especially at the descents, especially in the mud. Anytime you need really good technical skills, count on him. He gains a bike length every time the course points down. I was pulling for him, man. I like how Flückiger rides. He looks kind of, unconventional on the bike, but he gets the job done, and he's an amazing bike handler. But then all of a sudden, tragedy struck for Flückiger. As just when I was thinking, holy crap, I think Mathias is the strongest today. His rear tire went flat, and he was forced to ride to the pits to receive a new wheel. If you don't know, you can't get assistance from anybody anywhere on the course. You can only go to the pit area, and you have to finish on the same bike you start on. This means they can't just have a bike ready for you. Like in cyclocross, they have to physically fix it, which I don't even know why that's a rule. I mean, I don't know, whatever. So with only a few laps to go, we are back to Schwarzbaumer and Sink leading the race. So we've seen the two leaders suffering this entire time. Like, they've been riding their guts out, and I did not really see Lars Foster put in some massive attack to reach the front. He just kept pushing his pace until he inevitably caught the two leaders. And I just want to reiterate just how strong of a mind you have to do this. When you can see the leaders coming out of a turn and you are going into the turn and the gap is less than 10 seconds, it freaking kills me to not get out of the saddle, pump the pedals really hard and just catch them right then and there. But this late in the race, that would be a bad move. You aren't totally sure how the guys ahead of you are feeling, and if you burn a match closing that gap to them and you can't sit on, they can just attack you right then and there, right when you almost latch on, and you will have nothing in the tank to respond with. So Lars Foster is riding an extremely smart race here. And then on the final lap, he turns the screws up that final climb that it looks like complete death to me. He makes sure that the other two can't come to the finish line with him. But just look at him demolishing this climb. He is taking those pedals over like nobody's business. We got Lars Foster coming across for the win here. And then we've got Schwarzbauer and Sink getting second and third respectively. Hatherley nabs an impressive fourth place. And freaking Flückiger, that's his new name. That's his new nickname. Freaking Flückiger works his way back on the podium to nab fifth after recovering from that flat tire. And if I'm going to be completely honest here, I think Flückiger was the strongest in the race. If it was not for that flat tire, I, in my heart, believe he would have been the winner. Let me know down below what you guys think. That is what I think would happen, because if you go back and watch when he puts in those digs, you know, he was like a couple percentage points better than his competitors. It looked like to me he was breathing a lot better than the previous week when Nino was attacking. I think this was his day to win. It was just terrible luck that didn't work out for him. But kudos to Lars Foster for riding his race and taking his second ever World Cup win. Now let's discuss what happened to Nino. For one thing, the previous weekend, Nino, it was in his home country, he broke the record for most World Cup wins in existence. Huge feat. I think that was his big goal for the year. I don't care what anybody says, Nino has won everything multiple times. And when you set really high goals like that and then you accomplish them, sure, you would like to do that again the next year, but it just doesn't mean as much as that first time. It just doesn't mean as much as that fourth time. He has been world champion 10 times. Just ridiculous. I think a little bit of it is like his last big motivation was breaking that record and solidifying his position, and he's been doing a ton of training for this. He's not a youngster anymore. Like, he's competing with 20-year-old guys and he's still winning like he's winning. I mean, it's freaking impressive that he can do that. So I think there was a little bit of that going on, but I think one thing that must have hit him hard, I don't know if he was friends with the guy or not, but in Switzerland, cycling is big, but it's a small country. One of his fellow countrymen, Gino Mader, died, and it was a terrible crash on a mountain descent in stage 5 of the Tour de Suisse. So in his home country's tour, a fellow countryman lost his life during the race. You know, even in the US, as big of a country as the US is, that top echelon of the sport, everybody knows everybody. Look last year how many freaking Americans went to the Tour de France. It was like 2 or 3 maybe. So small. I can only imagine that Nino knew him. I don't know to the extent that he knew him, but I know that had to be weighing on his heart. One thing that I love about Nino, one thing that, whether you like him or not, you can't take this away from him. Like, he is a super humble guy, and he posted after the race, you know, I'm sorry guys, I wish I could have done better today, but I think he ended up, I don't know, like 22nd or something like that. He's like, that's all I could muster today. He said, my motivation was gone for the week, and that is the best that I could have done today. And I super respect him for coming out and saying that. He didn't make excuses. He just said that's the best that he could do today. But the interesting thing that he said was he just couldn't get back to the racing mood that he needed to be in to perform well. So I think with what happened with Gino, I think that he was just kind of mentally checked out for the week. But to me, for him to have a terrible day and he still finishes like 22nd, like, that's still impressive in my opinion, because we'll have an American go over there that completely wrecks people here in the States, and he'll get like 40th. So, but you know, that's why I think, in my opinion, it's why he did perform badly. I had some people asking what I think happened, and you know, if you guys know, please enlighten me down below. Don't take anything I say as the gospel or the truth, because I'm just giving you my humble opinion. But that's all I have for you today. Leogang was an exciting race. I love doing these. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.